Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Devin Sears. I'm joined by my coworker and friend, Anna Davila, and we are talking about email marketing today. If you've built a website and you're looking to increase the traffic that's getting to your website, email marketing and building a strong email campaign pipeline is extremely useful. It's extremely helpful in building your brand, increasing traffic to your website, and increasing conversions if you're trying to sell things on your website. So if you have an online presence, you need an email marketing strategy. And luckily today, we are here to talk about exactly that. So a couple housekeeping items before we get too much into it. As I mentioned, we are joined by Anna. She is one of our marketing program managers. She works on building and sending the emails that go out for Bluehost. My name is Devin Sears. I'm the Senior Field Marketing Manager. I will be your host today. Anna will be teaching us all of the content today. I will be in the background answering as many questions as I possibly can. And to that end, a housekeeping item, please go ahead and find the chat box. Let us know that you can hear us. Let us know where you're tuning in from so we can both see where you're tuning in from and also confirm that our audio is transmitting. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the chat box, or there's also a Q&A tab that we prefer the questions go to, just a little bit easier for us to keep those organized. Please don't hesitate to ask questions at any point throughout this webinar. We want this to be educational. We want this to be helpful for you. So if there's something in specific, like something specifically that you want to be answered about email marketing, go ahead and drop that in the Q&A box or the chat box, and we will do our best to answer that and to get to that question as we go through today's webinar. If you're having any technical issues, the best thing you can do is just to refresh your window, close out of this browser. I've heard that Chrome is the best browser for this. I've heard that occasionally Safari has issues. And if you tune in from your phone, then sometimes there's also some audio issues that pop up as well. So on a laptop or on a desktop, tuning in with Chrome is the best way to hear this. The question that we will always receive, and so I'll answer it at the beginning and at the end. This is being recorded, and we will send out a recording of this in the next 48 or 24 to 48 hours, partially in help to Anna's wonderful work. She helps with those emails, so we will be sending that out 24 to 48 hours after today's presentation. So if you need to leave early or step away for any reason, don't worry, we have you covered. We want to make sure we deliver this content to you. So without further ado, I will turn the time over to Anna to talk a little bit about what we'll be covering. You can introduce yourself if you like and take it from there. And then any questions that I can't answer in the Q&A or that I feel like will benefit the larger group, we'll hold those for a live Q&A section at the end, where I'll come back on and ask Anna those questions that I wasn't able to answer. So Anna, take it away.
Hello, everybody. Like Devin said, my name's Anna. I'm the marketing program manager for Bluehost. I pretty much handle all things email with Bluehost, and I love it. My background is I spent many, many years at Constant Contact, helping small business owners create their emails, manage contact lists, answer questions about deliverability, help with content, all of it. I was always happy to help customers, and I really just love doing emails. A little fun fact about me that I think is kind of cool is I RV full time since I'm coming to you from my RV. So it's kind of a fun lifestyle, and I'm really thankful with Bluehost to be able to do it. Now let's get to emails. We got a lot to cover. There's a lot that goes in, and this is really help you to start thinking about your strategies for emails, and also to help you get started. If you haven't sent an email for your business, this is a great starting off point to help you kind of get your toes wet and get going. So let's get started. Email is still relevant. Many people really focus on social media, which is a great place to advertise your business, but email is in directly into their inbox, and it's a very effective way to communicate with your customers. With email, you can also target and personalize your message. That way it will resonate deeper with your customers. You can have a small upfront investment to really, especially if you start working with an email service provider, to really start getting those emails sent out. One of the great thing about emails too is that you can measure results. You can instantly see who's opened, who's clicked, and you can take that data and use it for other emails and start really building on your knowledge of your customers and what they like. So let's get started. So first thing you got to do is you have to have people to email. So you have to start building a very effective list of your customers, so you can send them your communications. The most important thing about this is it must be a permission-based list. You need to send to people who want to hear from you, and that's who your customers are. If somebody doesn't want to hear from you, they're probably not going to buy your product, and it probably leaves a bad taste in their mouth about your business anyways. With a permission-based list, you get to control the information you collect. So with a lot of email service providers, they will have a form for you to create, and you can select that you want to know their first name. You want to know specific interests as it relates to their business. You want to know their location. You get more control. And you also get like I said earlier, customers that really want to hear from you. Those customers that give you their email address, they want to know what's going on with your business. So let them know. With a permission-based list too, you are not breaking any laws. Canada has Castle, US has CAN-SPAM Act, Europe has GDPR. All these laws are basically boiled down to this. You need to get consent from your customers to email them. And you have to have a way for them to remove that consent. And that's your unsubscribed. So if you work with any email service providers, say like Constant Contact or MailChimp, they have this built in, so you won't have to worry about it. And never, ever, ever buy a list. You're not going to get your money's worth out of it. It's a bad idea. And a lot of these email service providers, they have algorithms to know the moment you upload that list that it's a purchase list, and they won't let you send to it. So save your money. It can be invested in other things. So there are different strategies to grow your mailing list. One way is to have a compelling opt-in offer. So when you go to a website, you'll often see a pop-up that says, hey, we'd love your email address. But they'll also have a discount for you or give you exclusive access to exclusive content. One of my favorite sites, it's Silver Falls Sustainability. They offer 10% off a discount or off your first purchase. So when you provide that email, which is a very valuable thing, your email address is very valuable when you give it out. A lot of people would like something in return for that. Another strategy is multiple opt-in options. Don't just put a sign-up form on your main page and you're done. No, it needs to be in multiple areas. Think about where your customers touch your site. Where are they entering their information? Where would it make sense for you to ask simply or quickly for their email address? Another company I like, Torrid, they actually have it in their order flow. So as you're purchasing and you're filling out all the information, there's a check box right under their email. Naturally, you would put your email address in. There's a checkbox to be added to their mailing list. Another option is social media. I think this gets overlooked a little bit. On your social media pages is a great way to get people to join your email mailing list. You can have a subscription link on your about page or your info or about me posts. it's a great way for you to really let those people that know that there's another way to get information about your business. One strategy I love with social media revolves around Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I like to promote on social media that if you sign up for my mailing list, you'll get early access to deals or content. It's a great way to kind of show people that you value that they're getting something for their email, and that it pays to stay on that email list. Now, when you are gathering this information, you want to think about your sign up form. And your sign up form is going to really help you with the personalization and segmentation of your list. So, when you're thinking of your sign up form, you want to think about what kind of personal touches could you add. One of the great personal touch is a first name. Just asking them for their first name and email address is a great start. Then when you're sending the emails, you can title it to be like, "Hello, Devin." And it's great. People like to see their name. They like to see their name in print. And it just gives them a little warm feeling. Another is with the segmentation. So if you collect the right information, you can segment customers based on their interest. One thing to note, only collect information you're going to use. Customers will not like filling out a long form, and it starts to get really personal. So they may back off and won't submit their email address. But if you can find that nice balance of the information you're going to use, but not still feeling like it's getting too deep, it's really good balance. You want to you can use the segmentation from their location, things that they've bought in the past, maybe different parts of your business. Really think about that sign up form and how you would segment those customers. And then with that segmentation, you can tailor your content to specific segments for higher engagement. If somebody says they want more educational emails, you'll send them more educational emails about your company and maybe not so much of the promotional emails. So now that you have your email addresses to send to, now you got to create the email. And that can be kind of the hardest part sometimes, because you might be like, I don't know what to send. But today we're going to walk through, there's another company I really love. They're called Blueland. And I really found their email was really emphasize all of the great things in an email. And so I'm going to share it with you, and we'll break down what they've done right. You want to think about creating engaging content for your customers. The first thing to think about is the goal of your email. What do you want them to purchase? A product? Do you want them to know about your service? Once you know that goal, the rest tends to fall in line. With that goal, you need to understand what your audience's needs are. Do they need a link to go purchase whatever product you're trying to sell? Or do they need a link to a blog post that goes more in depth about a service you offered? Think about what your audience is going to need to accomplish the goal of your email. Also think about if you're going to be providing an educational email or a promotional email. You will come across these two different types of emails in a different way. So really think about how you want this to look to your customers. And you can also write an educational promotional email as well. So really just kind of take the time and think about what you want to accomplish with your email. One great tip is people love images. A good image really makes or break an email. They do a great job of providing more information, visual clues about your brand, your product. So think about a great image that really works with your email. Also, you want to make sure your email is mobile friendly and has a responsive design. If you're working with an email service provider, they should have this already built in the template. But also think about your content. if you have a big table or long blocks of content, it's not going to look good on a mobile device. So when you're designing your email, have your phone in the back of your mind so you can see, like, make sure that it'll look great on a mobile device. So from Blueland, I got this great email, and when I was looking at it, I was like, I really like a lot of things about this email. From this email, their goal is they want their customers to subscribe to their subscription. I know this, mainly their call to action, but also they talk about, they try to educate their customers. They're using this image, cleaning by the numbers, to get to tell customers about how much they clean on average. And they're trying to convey this image or this information through this image, and it's clean. And we just have everything we need to know about cleaning by the numbers. Now that you have this email, you want a call to action. This is basically telling your customers what you want them to do. The first thing with the call to action is you want to go back to to your goal. Your call to action is going to go back to how you want what you want your customers to do with your email. It needs to be clear and concise. Nobody wants a long call to action. Actionable words: buy now, learn more, sign up. These tells your customers what you want them to do. You can also place your call to action in strategic locations. So don't just put it in the email once, but don't put it in 100 times after each sentence. It's definitely a nice balance to have it where customers would probably want to click on it the most. At Bluehost, we tend to put our call to action at the very top and at the very bottom of the email so customers can conveniently click on it. The next, if your call to action, it's going to encourage click-throughs and conversions. This is telling your customers they need to leave this email, go to your website, and do whatever your goal of the email is. Blueland has really great call to actions here. So there are shop laundry tablets, shop dish tablets, and shop toilet tablets. So they're telling you their goal is for you to purchase these cleaning supplies. It has a clear call to action. They want you to shop. And it's in multiple locations, but it is specific to what they want you to buy. Now, after you've done creating your email, the next thing is to get a subject line. And I leave subject lines to the last because there have been times where I've thought I knew where an email was going, and at the end, when I was done, it landed somewhere else. So definitely wait till you're done with the email and then start thinking about your subject line. Subject lines, they're very important. They're the first thing your customer sees, and you need it to entice them to open. Now, this is where I utilize AI. And you've probably been hearing AI this, AI that, all over. But AI is a great tool to use to help you come up with, I use it to help me come up with more options for my subject lines and pre-headers. So I will put in what I think, honestly, could be a great subject line, and I'll put it into ChatGPT and ask them to give me more information, more examples, rewrite this. One prompt I'm really loving right now and using is working with the best practices for a subject line. Please give me 5 examples of a subject line for this. And then I can put the content of my email in that prompt. And there, ChatGPT, which already knows what the best practices for subject lines are, will go ahead and give me some examples. From there, I could be like, make these examples more engaging, more conversational. I can go ahead and see these examples and take what I think will work best for my customers. And a lot of times I will kind of Frankenstein them. I might like the beginning of one and the end of another, and I work on a way to put them together. This is definitely not just copying and pasting whatever Chat GPT says. This is using it as a tool to make your email or make your subject lines better. Now, Chat GPT knows the best practices, and now you're going to too. So the best practices for subject line: be clear and concise. You want, when people look at that email, they need to know what they're getting into. Personalize when you can. I don't overly personalize. I use it where it makes sense. It's, again, that practice. If you use it all the time, it's not as special. So when our customers see their name, I want them to know it's a special reason. You want to create a sense of urgency, like last chance, don't forget. Now, creating a sense of urgency can be tricky because it can roll into the next one, spammy language. You want to avoid spammy language. And by spammy language, I think of spam words that make exaggerated claims like 100% satisfaction or additional income or be your own boss. Something like that is pretty spammy. And also unnecessary urgency. Again, it's an art on this if you're using urgency in your subject line, but something like do it today or don't delete. It's unnecessary urgency that your spam filters might pick up on and might move to the spam folder. And just any words that sound shady and unethical, just leave them. And if you need examples, the best thing to do is to go into your own spam filter. Look through the subject lines that were landed there, and don't make your emails that subject line. And A/B testing of the subject line. This is what I like to do. I love doing different tones for subject lines, different lengths for subject lines. I'm always testing stuff out. So definitely test out your subject lines and see what your customers respond the most to. This, at the end of the day, this is for your customers, and knowing what they like is going to help you with your emails. So Blueland has this great subject line. This is how often you should be cleaning your toilet. And the reason it got me is because I was like, when was the last time I cleaned my toilet? So it really was like, how often should I be doing it? And am I probably not doing it enough? So the message here is clear. You know what this email is about. It's about cleaning. It's a statement directed at you. It's your toilet. How often should you be cleaning it? It gets you thinking and wanting you kind of curious about more. And there's no spammy language. You might think toilet might be, but no spammy language in this. And the next, once you've done your email, you think, oh, you're ready to send, and you send it off to the world and you're done. Nope. Always more you can do. There's testing, analyzing, and optimizing. A/B testing. Think of different A/B tests. There are definitely many elements you could be A/B testing. You can do the subject line, your content, different call to actions, different tones of an email. You could have a more urgent sounding tone or more just conversational sounding tone. Just think of the different elements and how your customers might react to them, and test it out. From there, you can analyze the results. Now, the results you'll analyze will depend on what you're testing. So if you're testing subject lines and pre-headers, you might want to look at open rates as whether or not what other subject line worked or not. If you're testing content or call to actions, then your click-through rates or your conversions are what you're going to want to look at to see which email won. You're going to take this information and optimize it for your future emails. You always need to be learning about what your customers' likes and what their dislikes are. And always be testing. I feel there is always something you could be testing about an email. When you think you're done testing, test again, because you never know. When you're also thinking about email, you want to think about deliverability, because the end goal is the email should land in the inbox. End goal, that's what we want. So to ensure deliverability, you want to choose a reputable email service provider. Two that come to mind that a lot of people are probably using are Constant Contact or MailChimp. They'll allow you to add your contacts in their system. You can segment them and manage them any way you see fit. They'll also let you create really gorgeous emails to send out to your customers. You can put in your own content, your own images, and schedule them and send them out on however often as you like. You also want to avoid spam triggers. Again, it goes back to the subject line. Avoid spammy words. Even if you don't have that spammy word in your subject line, if your email is full of spammy words, it also might get picked up by the spam filter and get put over there. So just really think out what you want your content of your email to be. And handle unsubscribes that come in outside of your email service provider. So every email you send out through one of these will have an unsubscribe link at the bottom, and the majority of the people will go through this. Every once in a while, you might just get a reply email that says, hey, I'm no longer interested in this. Take me off your list. That's fine. It's sad to see you go. We'll go ahead and do that. And you can go into a lot of these service providers and just unsubscribe them yourself. The big thing, though, is to really manage your contacts. And this means reviewing and cleaning your list. Every so often, I always recommend maybe once a quarter, go in and manage your bounces. That means looking at how many emails you've sent and how many emails have bounced. If an email address has bounced 4 or 5 times, they're not getting your email anyways, go ahead and remove them. There's no point in keeping them. Go through and clean out your list. Role addresses as well. Role addresses are position email addresses. So this would be admin@bluehost.com or secretary@bluehost.com. They're not owned by one person generally. It's usually a group of people. And if one person enters it in, another person might get the email and then hit spam. So also, if you see spam at a domain, just get rid of it anyways. Nobody's sending emails to spam. So email deliverability is definitely something you can help manage to make sure your email lands in the inbox. And that's it. Thank you guys all for listening today. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me still?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for that. That was very informative and very helpful, I'm sure, for a lot of people. We do have a couple questions that came up in chat as you were talking, so I'm just going to hit you with some of those and love to hear your response on them. So the first one that we have is, how can I improve my email open rates and engagement?
The email open rates is going to be your subject line. Testing out different tones of your subject line is a great way to really improve that open rate. By tones, I mean like your urgency or conversational or promotional. Test out what resonates with your customers to get them to open. And don't forget that pre-header. If you see in Gmail, it'll have the subject, but then right below it is the pre-header. And that's just more information for your customers to see. And that engagement is links. Those are clicks. So you don't want to overlink an email, but you don't want to underlink an email. How many times have you been scrolling and been like, I want to buy this? It doesn't make a great experience. But if you strategically put links to either purchase or maybe to a blog post to learn more, you'll definitely increase that engagement.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, and this is your wheelhouse, not mine, but the idea is to put a CTA in the email so that whenever someone is feeling compelled to act on it, they have the link right there available. So oftentimes that's right after you talk about your most exciting promotion or the thing that you're most excited about. You assume that the reader is also most excited about. And in that moment, you want them to be able to convert that excitement into a transaction or to traffic or whatever your conversion metric is for that email.
Correct. And your call to action should be loud and proud. Like it should be a button. There should be no confusion on what you want them to do. But you can also spice up the text, is what I like to call it. If I got maybe a little paragraph that talks about something, I might throw a link in there too. Because after I make a point about something, they might be like, I think I want this. I don't want to have them wait to scroll down to the call to action. Maybe right there is a great place. So think of where it makes sense, but don't overdo it because that gets too much.
I like it. And that actually segues perfectly into the next question that I heard from the chat. And that is, what is the best frequency for sending marketing emails without overwhelming subscribers?
Oh, this is a tough one because it depends on your customers. I recommend testing this out. Think about, I start with myself. And there, actually, before I do that, you can Google what are industry best practices. So Google your industry. So if you're in finance best practices, email send frequency. And they'll give you a general idea. Once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month. Never every day. Don't ever do it every day. From there, you get a little guidance and then you try it out with your customers. Are you getting a good engagement rate? If you're not, or if you feel like you could be doing it more, try sending more. Try sending less. It's going to be finding out what frequency works with your customers. I would recommend if you're like totally blank and not even where to go, once a week. Try sending different times once a week. See what happens. With a lot of these email service providers, the great thing is you're in control.
I like it. I like it. I think that's good advice. And obviously it's that delicate balance of what is helpful, but not overwhelming, right? And I almost feel like it's like how often do you talk to your good friend on the phone? You know, it's like you want to talk to the amount that's helpful for them and helpful for you, but not that you're getting frustrated when you see their name pop up on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And you actually mentioned something which again segues kind of into this next question, and that is recommendations for A/B testing tools or platforms. And you might have touched on it briefly, but if maybe you can remind us a little bit about what A/B testing is before you tell us what the tools are.
So A/B testing is basically creating two tests. You can have some people might have a control and a variable, or it could be two variables. Again, you're in control. A lot of the email service providers, like my experiences with Constant Contact, so they'll have an A/B test where it just sets up everything. You tell them how many of your lists, what percentage you want to go for this test, what percentage you want to go for this test, and then the rest will get the winner. So usually with Bluehost, we do a 20-20-60. So when we do a test, we do 20% gets variable A, 20% will get variable B. Whoever wins after 4 hours will get the winner. The rest will get the winner. Now, if you are using an email service provider that doesn't have A/B testing, you can do this yourself. Segment your own list. Put so many people in one list, put so many people in the other list, and send out a test. It could be you want to test a subject line, you want to wait 3 hours and see which subject line had the biggest open rate, and then at the end of the day, you'll send the rest the other one. So these are things you can do yourself if your service provider does not offer A/B testing.
I like it. And can you give a couple of variables that someone might think about testing? Like, are you saying like two different subject lines, or
Yeah.
maybe give us a couple examples?
So you can do two different subject lines. So for a webinar, I might do just webinar and then the name of it, some sweet, simple, to the point. Or the next one might be you're invited to our webinar about email marketing. It's more inviting, but it also is longer. So you want to test like, okay, which one of these is going to resonate with our customers? Who's going to open this? Another thing you can test are call to actions. You could test, again, webinars, join today or register now. You're invited. Different call to actions for customers to click on and see which one resonates with them best. So definitely stuff you can always be testing. Tone of a content, more educational. If you talk more about the benefits of something, and or you talk about more of the promotional, make it a little bit more salesy. See which one resonates with your customers the best.
I like it. That's good tips. The next question we have: can you provide examples of successful email marketing campaigns for inspiration? Anywhere that people can go for that?
Your own inbox and what's companies that you interact with daily. I like more of the cheeky emails. So there's a company called Who Gives a Crap, and it's reusable, or not reusable, sorry, renewable toilet paper. And so it's sustainable options. I found the name one day and I loved it, and I joined their email list. And I like their emails. They're a good kind of cheeky, and they also are very educational, and they talk about sustainability. So look at products that you like. Look at different companies you interact with and join their mailing list. And the great thing about it is you can always unsubscribe. I will join and unsubscribe many a list to see like, oh, I like this company. And then another company like, okay, they're not doing anything super cool. So I'm going to go ahead and unsubscribe from them. Even if you could keep a totally separate email address just for this. So you're not clogging down your own inbox, your personal stuff. I always say companies, follow them, see what they do.
I like that. Yeah, and that reminds me of just some emails I've seen in my inbox that I feel like are kind of like best practice or worst cases where, I've seen occasionally someone will say like, hey, 5% off. And in my mind, I'm like, that's not even worth clicking on. Like, that's not even, it's not a promotion that I'm interested in. Or on the flip side, they'll say, hey, 50% off, which is very exciting. But then when you click on the page, there's only like one item, it's like a clothing item that's not even my size or something. That's
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know. I think just thinking about my own inbox, things that I've seen that I think are useful. Make sure that you're delivering on your promise, and make sure that you're offering something that is exciting to your audience for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, we still have one or two questions. I'm going to advance to the next slide, which has assistance from Bluehost. So we have a couple resources that people can reach out to if they're looking for a little bit of help, either with their email or with their website. We have professional services. We have our helplines, and we also have our YouTube channel, as well as our technical support number there. So I'm going to keep this up in case anyone is wondering how to reach out to Bluehost for more assistance. And I think we have two more questions, I think, or actually, no, this is the last one here. And it is, how do I balance email marketing with other digital marketing channels effectively?
This is a tough one. In a previous life, I did this with email and blogs and social media. I managed all of that for a company. Get a calendar. It would be my best. and think about who is seeing each message. So you might have some cross pollination between your social media and your email marketing. So try to really visualize, and a calendar was how it helped me. And I would have blue was emails. So these emails went out and this is what they were about. And yellow was, or red was social media. So these posts were going to be going out. And I tried to make sure that if, say, we had a new blog post, I would have an email and a social media post going out mostly the same time. But then as I was like making that more relevant and keeping that top of mind, I would definitely post to social media more, not necessarily emailing people every time, being like, hey, did you forget about our blog post? Think about what you want to accomplish with each channel and then get a calendar and just start mapping it out.
I like that. Organization is absolutely key in that.
It is. And honestly, don't feel bad if you make a mistake. That's the one thing I would say. That was my biggest advice from one of my managers was, this is email marketing. This isn't brain surgery. Typos are going to happen. Have done them. Weird subject lines. Have done them. It's going to happen. You learn and you move on.
I like it. And we actually had one final question pop in, and I think we've got enough time to answer it. So I'm going to hit you with one final question, and that is, what's the optimal email campaign timing? Should I send emails during certain days or times, or are there certain days or times I should avoid?
Oh, this one's hard. Again, it goes back to knowing your customers. I don't like to send emails on the weekend because I want people to have their weekend. Let them do what they want to do. But at the end of the day, not everybody works a normal 9 to 5 or Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So just play with it a little bit. Send some on a Monday morning, but think about a Monday morning. People they're going through their emails for the weekend. Maybe not send Monday morning. Okay, then maybe I want to send on a Wednesday afternoon. Okay, give that a try. Are you seeing a spike in your open rate? Another thing to do is that A/B testing. Segment your list into 3 or 4 different smaller lists and send the same email on different days, different times. See how they do. And it's just really testing it out and seeing where your customers were. And then also there will be surprises. There have been times where it's like, oh yeah, all of our customers are going to want to know this information now. And nobody opened it. And I'm like, okay, never mind. So definitely testing. Again, go back to testing. And just think about when your customers would want to receive that information.
That's it. That's a really good tip. And I have my own question to add to the end of that, and that is, do you monitor your sends? Or maybe I should ask, what's the best practice? If you have a campaign going out, you mentioned you don't do it on the weekends, partially because your recipients, I'm sure, are not going to be there. But I suspect that in some degree, you also want to monitor what you're sending out just in case there's a problem with the software or someone does detect a typo and flags it, that you can react quickly to it. Is that the case?
Yeah. And so I will look at usually about an hour or two after a send, I will pull up the tracking and see, hey, make sure all the tracking's working. There have been times I've forgot a UTM. And so I'm like, why is nobody clicking on this? Oh, wait, it's not tracking. So definitely think about, like, give it time to marinate and know that those beginning numbers aren't going to be the end all be all. So I would say just monitor it for a few hours and then let it go. And honestly, once you send an email, you can't bring it back. So if you find a typo or if something looks weird, though I will say it is a good practice to, if say you sent out a 5% off, but you meant to send out 50% off, in a subject line, call it out. All big companies have made a mistake. Say, oops, sorry, not 5%. I'm at 50%. Does that sound better? Call it out. People will get a chuckle from it. And it shows that your company's human and you're not just not in some big database and, all that dystopia stuff. So
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate your time today. That was all of the questions that we received. So I appreciate you answering them. And thank you for stopping by and sharing your information for this. This is super helpful, and really appreciate you taking the time and energy to teach us more about how to improve our email marketing. So thank you so much, and thank you to everyone that tuned in. Hopefully this is helpful and educational. If there's anything more that you wanted to know, or if we missed your question, we'll try to go back through and make sure that it gets answered. So thank you, everyone. And thank you, Anna.
You're welcome.
Talk to y'all soon.
Bye.